Shokugeki no Soma. Quick question. Is Yukihira kind of cheating? Because I don't think Hayama is getting help from a former Elite 10. I'm not so sure how to feel about that. I love Kuga. He's actually one of my favorite Elite 10 members, and I always felt like, oh, he's probably going to help out the Rebels in some shape or form. He's going to fuck with the system because we know that he was replaced when Asami took over because he has this whole Chinese clan, his club. So this whole point of the chapter is because the reason why it feels like such an advantage with Kuga is that he's able to give Yukihira all these spices, and obviously he's not going to help him with the cooking, so to say. He's just going to give him the ammo. How do you feel about it? I don't know. Is that plot armor? Like, without Kuga, I don't think Yukihira can win. I mean, I think he can make it really close because he's Yukihira. He's always coming up with something. But just having all these spices is going to, I think, give him an advantage over Hayama, just barely enough for him to win. Is that plot armor of some sort? I love seeing Kuga, man. The guy's funny. He's snarky. He's got an attitude. He's funny. He's like very sarcastic, but every time he says something, he doesn't really mean it because he acts like, oh, I don't want Yukihira to get suspended. But in reality, it's just so he can have Yukihira challenge Hayama for the 9th seed Elite 10 with the Shokugeki, and then so he can challenge Yukihira to Shokugeki. And I'm like, okay, so in the end, it's kind of like more ground towards you, which it's pretty obvious. It's not that he's going to help Yukihira out of the goodness of his heart. That's not the point. So with this chapter, like, Yukihira keeps trying to add these spices, and he gives these food for Kuga to try out, and they're all Yukihira's ideas, don't get me wrong. Kuga's not trying to, hold his hand throughout this thing. He's giving the ammo, but this is all Yukihira's work. And Yukihira's like, oh, but Hayama's strength is spices. Should I go straight with spices, man? If this bear wasn't so stinky, it'd be, a lot better. But then he has, an epiphany. And I was kind of thinking this, too, because I'm the type of person who kind of likes some certain foods that kind of not smell but have a different kind of odor or a different texture, like from cheese down in Mexico or Puerto Rican food that's over there. Kind of has a different odor but still tastes fucking amazing. And he realizes that sometimes having the stink and the odor can actually be beneficial to the taste and to the quality of the food. So he has this epiphany, but he feels like he needs to know more about the bear meat and its environment. So here's what I really love about the chapter is that we're probably going to get a scenery change in the next chapter where he goes out into the wilderness and to be able to study what this bear's environment, the smell of it, what makes it stinky, what kind of ingredients might be out there. I think that's what he might be looking for. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. We're going to get a new change of scenery because sometimes, we see too much of a kitchen every now and then, a spoon. I'm like, okay, change of scenery. Let's go out there in the wilderness. But I hope he doesn't skip it. What I don't want is for them to skip that scene and then it just shows it in the snippets or flashbacks when he's going off against Hayama. And I'm like, come on. I really hope they show and they go into detail because we got 5 days, 10 days? I forgot. So Kuga, he's gonna help out Yukihira with this stuff. He's gonna give him his men to help with his equipment and make it easier for him. But I'm like, feels like plot armor, man. I mean, without Kuga's giving him a lot of help, and I'm not so sure how to feel about that because it doesn't look like Hayama's getting any help. He's all by himself. And towards the end of this chapter, you see Dojima Senpai, and he's making a bit of a, I don't know if it's a rash statement, but I felt like I was a little thrown off by the way he was talking. He says, oh, it's even worse than I thought. Yukihira, with the way you are now, you'll never be able to defeat Hayama. And I'm like, isn't that a bit like jumping the gun? I didn't think Dojima would say something like that. I always thought to him, it's like any man can win anytime with definition of cooking, with the style of matches. But the thing is, why would he make that kind of assumption or conclusion when was the last time he saw Yukihira cook? It's been a long time. And I think if we were to see Yukihira cook, maybe he might get a different opinion. But it's been a long time since he's seen Yukihira cook. Same with Hayama. I don't know. I was just thrown off by that. Maybe, I don't know. He said, the way you are now, you're not enough to beat Hayama, but you haven't seen him cook in a long time. I just think that was a bit rash for him to say. Because it's obviously just for hype purposes, in my opinion. We know Yukihira's getting help from Kuga, but Dojima's just meant to say that just for the hype. And I wasn't so sure if that was necessary, because I was already hyped up, and again, I'm pretty sure the fanbase is hyped up for this match. But why say something that sounds so rash and unlogical? I wasn't too sure, but I felt that it was out of character for Dojima. But either way, it was a good chapter. we'll see how this thing goes with Yukihira. I might change my mind depending if this is plot armor that he's getting help from Kuga. But solid chapter, 3.8. Good chapter. Like Kuga a lot. Like Haima, Dujima. Excited for the next one. Fantard out.